All right. Hey, what's going on, guys? Already got our first comment. A little sass mouth here. I wonder why he's so excited. Let me put it up here. Whatever does he want us to talk about? Uh, Mike, I can't hear you.
That's because I muted my mic when I opened my pop. My bad.
Well, the countdown timer automatically mutes us too, but then I think it pops off. I thought maybe it just
Yeah.
got stuck on there.
Nope. That was
So
all
you heard,
me.
you heard what I was saying about Timmy
Yep.
Jim here. And so
Timmy Jim.
yeah, I wonder whatever he could want us to talk about to start. But thank you for joining us regardless, Tim. I love you.
Who, me? Sassy? No.
Timmy Sassy Pants. All right, guys. So Mike and I, you know, we are a culture shock podcast. We are a pop culture podcast first, but we have more interests than just movies and TVs and video games. So we wanted to get together. This probably won't be a weekly segment. We just
No.
wanted to get together for week one because that's where most of the overreaction tends to happen throughout the season.
Yeah.
Because if your team wins one game, they're going to the Super Bowl. If they lose a game, they're getting the number one pick. So,
So the Steelers are getting a number one pick?
hey, we'll get there. We're not the Giants, okay?
That's true.
We scored.
Okay, and I gotta be honest. I mean, I would like to do this not every week, but on occasion. Like, yeah, we are extreme as far as everybody on our podcast. I think we're all three very passionate about football. Adrian
Maybe
and
that's
Corey are a lot more passionate about other sports as well. And me, not so much.
yeah, yeah. We are not going to be the podcast to go to if you want to hear NHL episodes and NBA episodes. It's probably just going to be NFL on occasion. Tim, if you're right, hey, that gives us even more of a
He
loophole.
is right. He is right.
There's sports is pop culture, so there you go. It falls under the umbrella. So yeah, we wanted to get together. We have a fancy little list here that I put in order. Do I have my screen up? I think it should be right here. So, right there, I made a little tier list for us: Super Bowl favorites, Super Bowl contenders, playoff teams, potential wild card, outside looking in, mediocre at best, Steelers, and number one pick contention for the worst of the worst. I have it division by division and then alphabetical in that division. So Cardinals, Rams, redacted, Seahawks, etc. So we will get into that a little bit. One of those teams doesn't exist, just like the Steelers never lost the 2010 Super Bowl.
Hey.
Hey. But of course, we're going to start with our teams because, we're biased. In the description, I put the good
who's my
and the
team?
bad. Yeah, but in the description, I put the good and the bad. So, Tim, redacted. So let's start with the good because we have both ends of that to discuss with our teams. So,
Yeah.
Mike, I will let you start.
Honestly, I didn't really know what to expect going into this game. We discussed it twice now. We did our NFL whatever we did. We did an episode a couple weeks back about what we were expecting for the season, and then of course we did our fantasy football season.
Yeah, our draft.
Hey, I think Corey says he's backstage waiting to come in.
Oh, hey, guys, we have a special guest. And by guest, I mean another host of our weekly podcast. Should I just keep him in the green room or should I let him in?
Tim, should we let him in?
I see Corey shaking his head. Yeah, Tim, should we let him in? All right, here we go.
Hilarious.
Wow, and I got to give him credit. Look at what he's wearing. That's a true fan right there.
Since we moved, I can't find my jerseys right now. I wanted to wear a jersey too.
I guess Mike's not a real fan. What's that, Ohio State?
Hey, I have a Packers shirt on.
Hey, before we let Mike gush, Corey, why don't you talk about your MVP quarterback, Justin Fields, speaking of Ohio State?
Yeah, I think he did great.
He looked pretty good, huh?
Yeah, he rushed for 36 yards. I mean, that's, it's a good start to another 1,000-yard season.
Listen, I think people, that's true. I think people often get fantasy potential and NFL potential confused. Like the fact that there was any Justin Fields narrative for MVP this year before the season, it's pretty laughable.
Yeah, I love Justin Fields, and he did a lot of good things for Ohio State, but I don't know about MVP.
Right.
I think they're just grasping at straws because Brady's gone. and Rivers is gone, and Breeze is gone. I think they're just grasping at straws because they need somebody to look at.
Yeah, you want to get the hot take. That's what gets clicks.
Yeah.
Like saying Patrick Mahomes or saying Jalen Hurts. There's nothing really exciting about that.
It's so obvious.
But you say
Now-
Justin Fields.
As somebody
Stevie
who watched
Wonder
the
thinks
entire
Justin
game,
Fields looks phenomenal.
as somebody who watched
would.
the entire game, I will say that Justin Fields looked. I mean, he looked half decent throughout the first half.
Yeah.
Once he had to start playing from behind, and Green Bay kept like piling on the points, he started to look a little frazzled. And he looked. He looked like he did, like he usually does.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
because he had most of those stats in that first half. I thought he was. I was like, oh well, Fields actually does look pretty good today, and then just kind of all died down.
Yeah, I was a little worried, honestly. Not gonna lie. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is not gonna go well."
yeah, I think the coaching staff is. I mean, they're already setting him up for failure, and he's not a quarterback that's going to do well playing from behind. He's a team that if he has the lead, he can sit on it. He can run for first downs. He can make the simple reads. But Fields, at this point in his career, has shown when he has to go through his progressions, he struggles a lot.
Yeah,
He is a run first, throw second quarterback.
absolutely.
And it shows a lot when he has to throw that he sometimes gets flustered, and he doesn't slide at all. I noticed, like, that dude's gonna get hurt one of these days.
Give it a couple of years and he'll get injured because he was stupid and should have slid.
I was watching the Bills Jets game on Monday night, and Josh Allen the same way, dude. He does not slide. He just, and don't get me wrong, Josh Allen's a lot bigger of a dude than Justin Allen, or Justin. Justin Fields. They're like the same person. I mean, you saw how Josh Allen played.
And this is why we say week one is full of overreactions.
Yeah.
No, I think Josh Allen, if he keeps doing the same shit, he's gonna get hurt too. But I mean,
oh yeah, for sure. I can see that.
Week one doesn't mean anything though. Rodgers will pick it up from here on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely
in 2024.
Yeah.
By the way, did you guys see what
Vikings.
happened? Did you guys see what happened on Underdog? So there was like they had, you know how like DraftKings and FanDuel, they do these like easy bets for you to join them and win easy money. They're like, hey, over half a rushing yard for fucking Brees Hall or whatever.
Yeah.
So they had a promo for people over half a yard passing for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh man.
Those people did not win any money.
But imagine the guy who took the under, how much he's cleaning up right now.
Oh yeah, he probably.
That's true.
He's banking right now.
That dude is wiping tears of joy with $100 bills like Dumb and Dumb.
But so if I may, because you guys, we Adrian, Corey, Adrian, and I discussed that we'll talk about our teams first, and then we're gonna get into what we're gonna do.
All right.
So yeah, at the beginning, Justin Fields looked like he might be a little scary. Jordan Love didn't look like he was very poised at first, but dude, did he come on strong in that second half? Like, it just fucking came out of nowhere. Like a light bulb clicked on, and he just knew what he needed to do. Dobbs wasn't even at 100% and looked great.
Yeah,
he's gonna get Watson back at some point. I don't know if it's gonna be against Atlanta or the following week.
Yeah, Mike, I bet you loved the way he played.
I did love the way he played.
See what I did there?
I don't get it.
I'll explain it to you later.
Okay, cool.
Quite frankly, I was really worried. Like I said, we talked about it before the season ever started, twice on 2 episodes. Love was a big question mark, and he kind of, I'm not going to sit here and say that after one game he answered that question, right. But he definitely silenced some haters. That's for sure. Especially,
Tim,
well,
especially.
Well, I was just gonna say, especially because like the Bears defense, like there's a lot of people on the Bears team that were talking shit before the game even started. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna own the Packers now.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah. And they did.
Yeah, but Tim, to Tim's point, I wouldn't underestimate Jordan Love. He did study Rodgers for a couple of years. That's true, Tim. But answer me this: why does Jordan Love have 2 Achilles intact if he studied Rodgers?
I can answer that. It's
okay.
because Jordan Love plays on real grass.
MetLife Stadium
Yeah,
fucked
that's-
Rodgers up, man.
Yeah. Guys, we're going to make a lot of these jokes today, but I think we all feel for the guy.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm actually really upset about the whole thing, to be honest. But the
Yeah.
jokes are funny, and as long as
course.
they're not being actual hateful and they're in like in taste of humor,
In
I don't
jest.
yeah, like there's a lot of Packers fans that are like super excited and happy that he got hurt, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I hate that, and I dealt with that I'm a true Lakers fan, but as with all sports, I have a second team just in case. And my second team back in the day was the Cleveland Cavaliers because I watched LeBron since high school. And when he went to Cleveland, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start following them too. And when he left Cleveland, they treated that kid with such fucking hate. I hated it. I was so mad. I was like, why are you so mean to this kid? He just wants to win a ring. And he did come back to Cleveland and win a ring, but he had to go somewhere and get better for a little while.
Yeah, it's a good, like Tim definitely agreed. That turf has to go. But yeah, go figure. A kid leaves a city because he's with you for 7 seasons. You give him no help, and he leaves, and they start burning his jerseys. Yeah. That shows you how toxic some fans can be.
Oh, some fan bases are awful, and
I did hear a funny
Packers,
thing.
The
there
Packers
was a bar.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, I think
real quick. There was this bar in Wisconsin that they were offering free rounds of drinks if their Jets lost the game. Yeah. So there were Packers fans in that bar cheering when Rodgers went down because they didn't know it'd be like season ending. But they thought for sure they had an easy win for Buffalo, so they're all cheering. and then overtime happened. They're like, "Fuck, we have to pay our tab."
But David Bakhtiari, which is blindside lineman for Green Bay, and was one of Rodgers' best friends. I mean, his tweet fucking says it all. He said, "Congrats, NFL. How many more players have to get hurt on artificial turf? You care more about soccer players than us. You plan to remove all artificial turf for the World Cup coming up. So clearly it's feasible. I'm sick of this. Do better."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a damn shame. But yeah, Green Bay, I think, came out, Mike, to your surprise, a lot better than you were expecting. You actually thought they had a good chance of you thought they had a good chance of losing this game.
Well, so Adrian told me shortly before the game started, I was not aware that both Watson and Dobbs were not expected to play. Fortunately, Dobbs did end up getting cleared. I was like, well, never mind. That's an easy win for Chicago.
Yes,
Love's got nobody but Musgrave. Corey, the only Bears fan I know.
Which, by the way, for week 1, it was an abnormally high level of like the same kind of injuries, like hamstrings and Achilles.
It's like these guys did nothing in the offseason.
I'm wondering how long it's going to take anti-vaxxers to say it's because they didn't get vaccinated or because they got the vaccine.
Well, I was going to say Rodgers is an anti-vaxxer.
Oh, that's right. He's an anti-vaxxer because I remember last year when Damar Hamlin, when he went into cardiac arrest, people were saying, "Oh, it's because he has that vaccine." I'm like, "Oh my God." Wow. Yeah. But anyway,
do we have to go there?
Green Bay came out. They definitely impressed. Aaron Jones is just a fucking stud every year.
I mean,
but speaking of hamstrings, he has a hamstring injury.
Yeah. His doesn't seem. I haven't heard a lot about it, so I don't think his is like very serious at the moment. But I
don't think so. I think he could play next week. But I think if there's a week to rest Christian Watson and Aaron Jones, it could be against Atlanta.
It's against Atlanta. Yeah. Chicago, very important because, it's the oldest rivalry and in all of, is in all of sports, maybe definitely in all of football, but yeah, you just, I don't care if you're hurt or not, you fucking go out there and you play. Like that's,
absolutely.
I mean, the Steelers and Ravens, they fucking feel the same way. I bet you 90% of those players would go out there with a broken leg if they let them.
Oh, for sure.
I just learned that Mike is basically John Voight from Varsity Blues. I don't care if you're hurt. You get the fuck out there and you play.
Just let me give you this shot real quick.
Let's go. But speaking of, I gotta love Varsity Blues. But speaking of hamstring injuries, I think a seamless transition to our game because Deontay Johnson went down with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
And when Allen Robinson is your leading receiver, it's going to be a bad stretch. Allen Robinson outperformed George Pickens, which is disgusting to say. Deontay Johnson, I think he's very fortunate. I think we're fortunate because when he made that cut, it looked like one of those season-ending injuries. Like when he went down holding his leg, it looked like one of those things where he could have tore muscle off the bone. Deontay's a beast, but he makes these cuts that are so violent that you're going to get hurt sometimes. It comes with the shifting your body. It's like he's very akin, and a lot of NFL players are this way. Corey, you probably remember like prime Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
Dude was so shifty, but he cut so violently that you're like, dude, one day his knee's going to be fucked. And then look at what happened to Derrick Rose. Yeah, one of the best potentials of all time that became a mid player.
And if you don't constantly take care of yourself and condition yourself the correct way, cuts like that are just going to screw you after a few years.
Yeah. Yeah, and those are for fucking supreme athletes. Like even them, you can't make the cuts that violently all the time.
A lot of kids don't realize that coming out of college, you're a college student, you're young, your bones are healthy. You can do some pretty crazy violent turns and spins. When you get a little bit older, you just can't do that stuff anymore. And people think they're invincible. And
it doesn't matter.
Real quick, they're not.
It doesn't matter what shape you're in, like what regiment you do. Obviously, that stuff helps tremendously to the average person.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter how athletic you are. Like there's some things that your body's not meant to do over and over again. And those kind of moves is an example of that. But just the game, it was fucking ugly. I still don't know if the Steelers are that bad or if the Niners are that good or if it's a combination of the two. I think the Niners are a Super Bowl favorite. Like I said that before the season. I think I picked the Niners and the Bengals, which, we'll get to the Bengals. But
I'm really giving the Steelers, this sounds biased because I'm a fan, but I'm giving them a bit of a pass on this first week because they're coming straight into this with some new players and they played like a Super Bowl contender team.
Yeah.
I want to see what they can do rising themselves up against a little bit lower teams, maybe get the practice in they need against other teams like
Monday night against Cleveland, we'll see. Yeah,
Cleveland didn't do so bad against Cincy.
No, Cleveland's defense was...
I'm good. I have them on my fantasy team, so I was pretty happy about them.
Again, that is another one-off incident for whatever reason, Joe Burrow always struggles against Cleveland. I don't know what it is, but Joe Burrow definitely earned that highest contract in NFL history week 1, though, didn't he?
Yeah. God, yeah.
That dude got paid $55 million a year to throw for 82 yards.
Yeah, did you see the meme of it's a picture of Andy Dalton and it says Joe Burrow after he gets paid? It's just a picture of Andy Dalton.
Oh, really? Tim says, I don't think Pitt is as bad as they look. San Francisco is a hard team to play against, especially healthy.
Yeah, Tim, of course you'd say that.
No, but
how did the Jets
just kidding, Tim? Calm down.
No, but as far as the Steelers, the offensive line, it's San Fran's pass rush, but the offensive line definitely didn't look as good as advertised. George Pickens struggled. You kind of see Pickens giving up when they're losing and getting frustrated. And you see a lot of these 15-yard penalties are probably going to come the way he gets pissy. And it's like, I love the talent, but I can tell the diva is there so much. Like Allen Robinson, this old-ass receiver, is still going out there giving us his best. And you see Pickens giving up on plays and going to the sideline. And he's a kid. Like, I don't like that. Allen Robinson, was dorming with Pickens, so I'm hoping some of that's going to rub off on him. But cool for Robinson. Really sad to see for Pickens. Really fucking unfortunate. At this point, I think Deontay Johnson is cursed to never score a touchdown again. Because he literally had a walk-in touchdown and Pickett threw it low and behind him.
Deontay Johnson is such a weird entity of a man because when he has a good game, he can catch 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. But
sometimes it looks like people can't sometimes it looks like nobody can cover Deontay on the field. Like he's always open.
And then the very next week they'll pay the 32nd ranked defense and he won't catch one ball.
Yeah. and he definitely had a touchdown this week. I don't place any fault on Deontay Johnson in week 1. Pickett was bad.
Very bad. Horrible.
It wasn't like, oh, it's San Fran's defense. That plays a part, but Pickett was missing wide open guys on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I said since last year, I don't know if he's that guy. I really don't. I don't know if he's more than a career backup or out of 32 starting quarterbacks, he might be 29 to 32. I don't think he's that guy.
I think he can be in time, but starting,
maybe.
I don't think he'll ever get there. I think
Yeah,
if you were
everyone
to
said
sit
la-
under somebody and learn, maybe. But
Yeah. Everyone said last year, like, well, what about all those comebacks at the end of the year? Okay, I'll give him that. Fourth quarter was clutch time, but he in those games he was still throwing for like 180 yards and 1 touchdown, and like
Yeah.
the scores were like 13-9, 17 to. It's not like they were scoring 30 points. Like he was scoring 7 points for 3 quarters, and then they'd come and score like 7-10 in the fourth. Like that's not winning football.
No.
The defense looked terrible. Levi Wallace just isn't very good at football. The dude couldn't cover he can't cover anybody. He can't tackle. Like that McCaffrey touchdown, that should have been like a 7-yard run. The fact that became a touchdown, McCaffrey is that good. But like Levi Wallace missed an easy tackle. He's not good at football. He needs to be benched immediately. TJ Watt, it's a shame that he can go out there and get 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles, and they still are that pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally out there doing everything he can and it's looking like maybe the defensive player of the year. By the way, it's going to be a fun race this year for defensive player of the year. Like between Watt, Micah Parsons, Bosa, Max
Whitehead.
Crosby's a beast. Yeah. What did he have? Like 3 interceptions?
3 interceptions in one game, which, by the way, funny is he needed 3 interceptions all season to get his bonus for $250,000.
Josh
Nailed
Allen,
it.
what a good guy. Josh Allen, what a good guy getting him that bonus week 1.
He said, "Fucking Whitehead's out there somewhere."
I was listening to the Fantasy Footballers. They're a great fantasy podcast, much better than us. But I was listening to them, and they're like, is it possible that Josh Allen thought Whitehead was a Bill? They're like, because literally Whitehead got more catches than Gabe Davis. That's
Josh
crazy.
Allen. Josh Allen completed more passes to a Jet than Aaron Rodgers has.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely
true.
true.
Damn. Tim says, I think Kenny has potential, but he's not that guy yet. And keeping Matt Canada around is only making it take longer for him to get there.
I've said that
Absolutely.
for years.
Fucking
Yeah,
Matt
that is.
Canada.
Matt Canada's running offense from like 15 years ago. That dude needs to go.
Yeah.
So, Corey, I want to talk about how you stole the Jets defense from me in fantasy, and they're pretty much the reason you fucking won.
Yeah, they did great. They nailed it.
They got him 20 fucking points.
Would they end up with 20 points?
20 points.
Yeah, I was poised to maybe win that win week 1 by like 1 point, I think.
Yeah.
And the Jets took me. What did I win by, like 10 or something?
You won by 10.
Yeah.
So like if the Jets defense had played poorly and Josh Allen would have been Josh Allen, Corey could have lost that game. But no,
for sure.
Instead, the Jets defense looked like fucking superstars and they gave him 10 extra fucking points.
I won week 1 in 2 of my 3 leagues.
Yeah, week 1, man. Nice.
We all 3 won.
We did.
Oh, we did.
Yep.
Yeah, good start.
Fuck
Week
you guys.
1 was just. So I saw a couple stats, and it's just fucking wild. So week 1 this year, there was only 62 touchdowns across the league. That's compared to 79 last year and 88 the year before that. There was only 6 tight end touchdowns all week. And of those guys, they finished in fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 9. But the top 5 tight ends, it's literally only because they had a touchdown. I think the most yards this week was Hunter Henry with like 60 receiving yards for tight end.
Oh, well, Musgrave had 50.
Yeah. Did he have a touchdown?
No, he only had 3 receptions for 50 yards.
Most yards by a tight end?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure.
And this was a weird week because Kelsey and Andrews were both out. So
yeah,
an ugly week for tight ends. But just a really low scoring week 1 across the board. I think we all noticed that in fantasy. Like all of the stars that are normally stars, they're like getting like 5, 6, 7 points. Like what the hell's going on? Josh Allen got me 9 points. Mike, well, you had a couple players on your team that did not perform.
Well, I know I did. You're right. But then I had 3 players on my team that fucking blew it out of the water and made up for that.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Yeah.
Lamar only got me 6 points, and I had 2 on the bench.
And it looks like Austin Eckler is actually looking like he might be injured too.
Yeah. I think Josh Kelly was the big free agent pickup this week for fantasy. Eckler's backup. Yeah, but remember, Ayuk won't always have 2 touchdowns. Sometimes he'll face a good defense.
Mike, our picks of Roethlisberger and Brady might not be that bad.
It's true. I might need to go get Brady back.
One of them might come back.
Oh, people already have the fucking pictures of Brady in a Jets
In a
jersey.
Jets jersey. I've seen it.
Did you see? Oh my! Did you see that Colin Kaepernick's agent? Why he still fucking has an agent? I don't know. Reached out to the Jets after Rodgers went down.
Really?
That's legitimate news.
The cap is back.
Kaepernick has been apparently still working out on the West Coast. Like Jesus, if he was good, he'd be on a team already.
All right, guys. So let's have a little fun here. And first, because we're going to spend significantly less time on the rest of the teams, we just wanted to talk about ours. So let's get ours out of the way. After a week 1 performance, barring you're going to have Christian Watson come back. Remember, this is overreaction week 1. Mike,
Yeah.
as a Packers fan, where would you put them right now? Where are you thinking?
I'd still say potential wild cards.
Potential wild card?
Yeah,
Playoff team?
potential wild cards.
Okay, I was going to say NFC kind of stinks. There's
I'm
a
still
few
not.
It
It was just the Bears.
That's
Hey,
true.
first of all, you're right. Second of all, fuck off.
Mike, way to not overreact on week 1. Corey, Steelers, I'm thinking right now, I want to put them mediocre, but maybe outside looking in.
Keep going up. Keep going up. No, they're definitely outside looking in. I don't think they're going to have a losing season still, but I don't think they'll. At this point, if they play like this the rest of the season,
Yeah.
they'll be right outside.
Yeah, I think, well, if they play this way all season, they'll be number
They'll
one.
be number one.
Contention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't mean losing all season. I meant playing poorly. Because against some of the bad teams they play this year, they could play poorly and still win.
That's
Yeah.
true. What does the rest of their schedule look like?
We have a week
The rest of the
schedule. That's
schedule
why.
is actually kind of easier, but this was one of our hardest games of the year.
And let's also, I have, is the power rankings up for you guys here on Fox Sports?
Yeah.
I want to see out of curiosity where they have both of our teams after week 1. So according to them,
How are the
Steelers are at
Giants not the
20
bottom?
Right. Steelers are at 24. Says there's no shame in losing to a perennial powerhouse, don't they? Like the 49ers, but that was way more than a loss. Much like the New York Giants, the Steelers had a big opportunity to announce themselves on Sunday, and they fell well short. Fortunately for them, the Giants spared them from the most lopsided loss of the weekend.
Thank you, Giants.
Which by the way, my buddy's a Giants fan, and rough week for us. It was a combined 70-7.
Oof.
Yeah, so Fox Sports has Steelers at 24, which would be how many teams get in? 14.
14 now. Yeah.
Yeah, so we would probably be mediocre at best according to their week 1. And the Packers are at
Get the
They have
fuck out. If they're in the top. Okay, I was gonna say.
14.
So that's
wow.
about.
That's literally that would be the last
That,
playoff
that
team
would be
in.
that would be a potential wild card team.
They have the Saints over the Packers?
Well, I mean, who knows? I
Yeah, who
don't know.
knows? Yeah. So yeah, it was a good and a bad week for us. But bad for Corey and I. A pleasant surprise for Mike.
Yeah, it was good all it was good all around because my fantasy team won majorly, and scored the most points in the league. My actual favorite football team won. That was amazing, and Jordan Love actually looked decent.
Yeah.
But you know what?
That is,
you guys both won your fantasy games too, so it's not a super bad week.
no, the thing about like when a game like this happens,
Superbad's a good movie.
This
Yeah,
is a good movie.
when a team like that, when a game like this happens to your team, I wasn't even upset at a certain point. Like you literally just have to laugh. Like, wow, we are doing nothing right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
Literally
happened.
nothing right. Like I feel like we got that 95-yard drive before halftime. I felt like San Fran was taking pity on us.
I was at work
like-
until 4:00 during the game, and I was
Oh.
watching it off and on at work. I'm glad I missed it, most of it.
We weren't doing anything right, and I don't think either of the running backs like came in and claimed that spot. Like Najee looked like the same inefficient Najee besides
Yeah,
one
he did.
22-yard run. But even Jalen Warren came in. He's supposed to be like the explosive running back and just nothing. The line didn't open up anything for him. Every catch he had was for like 3 yards. Just they blanketed us the whole game. Just not much. It's one of those weeks. There's nothing really positive to take from it. I think you just throw the film out and you're like, on to week 2. We're on to Cincinnati.
I mean, you know what? There is a positive though. You get beat bad, but there were a lot of mistakes made. But you kind of learn what you still need to work on, and you move on from there.
Yeah, if Pickett was throwing accurate
What a
passes,
positive spin.
if Pickett
mean,
was throwing
it's just 1 week.
It's 1 week. It's been.
1 week since you looked at me.
And week 1 always shows you why preseason doesn't really mean shit.
Yeah.
Oh, the Steelers offense is going to be unstoppable. They were 5 for 5, and their starting offense was 5 for 5 with 5 touchdowns. No one's going to stop them.
I had multiple friends, and I won't call any of you out. That preseason showed us the Steelers can win the Super Bowl, and I just laughed every time they said it to me.
I don't know. Adrian did say, according to the preseason, we were looking at a Packers Raiders Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and both of them won. So maybe.
Let's talk about another team that looked great in the preseason and lost their opening game, and that was to open the NFL season.
Yeah,
Detroit and Kansas City.
Oh my God, that game wild.
Yeah.
The end of Kadarius Toney's career. No, he's young. I mean,
The start of the end, maybe
the beginning of the end. They're not just going to drop him after one bad week, but it wasn't a bad week. It was like a historically bad week. Like I was listening to some.
He was easily the Lions player of the game.
For sure. I was listening to a podcast and they said like they've never seen anything like this, but he was expected negative 0.2 points every time he touched the ball in fantasy. He was projected to lose points every time he touched the ball. I think the receivers had 6 or 7 drops amongst them. Like everyone's like, oh, I guess Mahomes needs Kelsey. I guess Mahomes needs yeah, you need your best playmaker, but it's hard to fault that on Mahomes when the pick 6 was off of Tony's hands, when every receiver had fucking brick hands.
The crazy part is I actually haven't seen a lot of people hating on Patrick Mahomes for that game.
Right.
But that was the same. That was what kind of irritated me because like I see that, but it's like, oh, it's still Mahomes. He's still great. But like Rodgers last season dealt with the exact same shit. Nobody could catch the fucking ball. And everybody was like, Rodgers is washed up. I'm like, it's not his fucking fault. His fucking receivers have brick hands.
Right. Oh, I think if Mahomes was doing this at age 39, then they'd probably be using the washed up thing on him. Wow, Tim, that's crazy.
Tony deleted his Twitter. That's how much hate he's been getting. Oh my God.
No, that's not right. That's fucked up.
Not only is it not right, but a lot of celebrities do that nowadays.
Yeah,
they get hate for something and they just completely get off Twitter because it's just not worth hearing all the shit.
Social media and getting behind a keyboard have brought out the worst of people. People are fucking disgusting.
We know how much I hate keyboard warriors.
Yeah, but it's beyond keyboard warriors. It's like, oh, I hope your mom dies of cancer and your fucking brother gets hit by a car, you piece of shit. Like people are that fucking vile. It's not
because
just
they dropped one pass.
I didn't realize Ray Finkel's mom was on Twitter.
Ray Finkel. Yes, guys, we're gonna make that reference every time we talk about football.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but week 1
when she says, "I wish Dan Marino
died."
I
know what you're referencing.
I need to speak to Ray Finkel and a clean pair of underpants.
But guys, we have to feel good about our preseason football episode because after week 1, Lions are 1-0. They beat the Super Bowl champions. We all picked them as a dark horse.
Yeah,
it's true.
So we got to feel good about the Lions. Actually, I know I have the teams in order, but as we talk about games, let's just do it this way. I'm going to do the screen share. So we're going to talk Lions first. This team, man, I think Dan Campbell's a fucking beast of a coach. I think the players love playing for the guy. Jahmyr Gibbs, like when he touched the ball, he only had 8 fantasy points this week, but he showed when he touches the ball, his acceleration and his speed is unreal. Like that dude is going to be, barring injuries, he's going to be a fucking great running back. Jared Goff,
he might even benefit from a little bit of patience.
Right, exactly. He's too fast.
He's too fast, and he runs right into defenders. If he can maybe hesitate a little bit, like Bell started to do at the beginning of his career, he might actually have a hell of a year.
Yeah, and Jared Goff, I mean, he's always been like a mid quarterback. He needs the play action. Like the Lions are going to struggle when they're behind like 10, 14 points in games because Goff, even at his he had a 1 or 2 year stretch where he could light it up, but other than that, Goff has never been anything special. Lions are going to benefit the most when they're playing from ahead, which I think they will be playing ahead a lot this season.
As long as that defense does what it does, I'm not going to sit there and say that their victory was all the defense. I mean, like you guys said, Kadarius Toney couldn't hold a fuck or catch a ball to save his life that
Yeah.
night.
It's true.
Honestly, the fact that Mahomes even had that within a point is crazy because
Yeah,
his receivers played so bad.
See, and then that's the thing. Like Mahomes is going to be all right, guys. If you're a Chiefs fan, don't fucking worry about one game.
And everyone's losing their mind about Kelsey in fantasy. Like, I shouldn't have drafted Kelsey. Like, dude,
He's going to be back.
He could miss 4 weeks.
I shouldn't have drafted him.
Kelsey could miss
You
the
can
first
trade him
4.
to me.
Yeah.
Not in our league. Sorry, it's a different league.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, Kelsey could miss the first quarter of the season and still finish as tight end 1. Like, you need to calm down.
Yeah.
I know it hurts for a few weeks, but he'll be back and he'll be fucking Kelsey. Especially, I think this has strengthened his case because Mahomes is like, well, fuck these receivers.
That's true.
Mahomes is
Kelsey
gonna
at
start
every
running
play.
everything.
Right. He does. He looked mobile in week 1.
He's a mobile quarterback.
Yes.
He reminds me a lot of how Aaron Rodgers was in his prime.
You
honestly.
think?
Yeah. Like the mobility and just making the insane throws and so accurate and everything.
Yeah.
He takes a little bit more risks than Rodgers does.
I was gonna say Mahomes has some Favre in him.
Yeah. But as far as like the way his play style is, it definitely reminds me more of Rodgers in his prime than Favre for sure.
Yeah,
Not
I
that
don't
I'm
want
trying to make that comparison because they're just Packers, but
I don't want to overblow Mahomes, but I think he reminds me of Tom Brady mixed with Peyton Manning, mixed with Aaron Rodgers. That's not saying too much, is it?
No, not at all. I would say Lions are a playoff team. I wouldn't put them as Super Bowl contenders just yet.
Yeah, I think we need to see a few more weeks from them.
Oh yeah,
beating the Chiefs is a hell of a start.
Yes, yeah, but like you said,
Mahomes
having that game as close as he did,
yeah,
with all those drops and shit, the Lions should have been way further ahead in that game.
Yep.
Plus, I've seen a lot of teams beat great teams and then just fall apart the rest of the year. So,
right.
Yes, I've seen that too.
But the Lions don't have a history of falling. Oh wait. Okay, guys. Chiefs. I know they lost. I know their receivers and their offense looked awful, but they're
still Super Bowl contenders to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Super Bowl contenders.
Even like that. Yeah, I would just stick with contenders for now.
Yeah, we'll move the tier at the end if we think, because I mean, if the Chiefs aren't a favorite, who is? But we'll talk about it.
The Jets.
Next game we'll go in order here. The Jets now. Bengals and Browns. We touched on this one a little bit. Burrow, my God, he struggled. I don't want to use an excuse, but he is coming off an injury. I think he rushed it. I think he probably should have waited like week 2, week 3 in the regular season. It was raining, terrible conditions, which I know, you can use the same excuse. Like, why did Cleveland put up 24 points? But Watson didn't look very good throwing either. He was just running.
Watson looked exactly how I said he was going to look. Mediocre at best.
He looked mediocre. Chubb is just unbelievable. Chubb is literally going to carry that team to 6 or 7 wins by himself.
Yeah.
Doesn't he every year?
Chubb in that defense, as long as that defense does what it does or does what it did. Like
Doug did?
Dig Dug. Yeah,
that's a decent game.
That's a throwback for even before us.
Well, some of you.
No, I'm not going to sit here and be all like, oh, the Browns are going to be super great. But this is another one of those questions, kind of like what you asked about the Steelers and 49ers. Were the Browns really like a really good team on Sunday, or were the Bengals just that bad?
That bad. T. Higgins, 0 catches. The Bengals with 8 first downs all game. They literally benched Joe Burrow in the 4th quarter. They're like, sit out, dude. We'll see you next week.
Hey, McPherson scored some points.
Yeah, he did. Well, he's a great kicker.
I love him. He's great.
But if the Browns defense plays that good and Nick Chubb continues to be Nick Chubb, all you need is Watson to come along. Even if Watson can be average, they can be a great team.
Well, I mean, he got a rushing touchdown.
Yeah. For the Browns, it's like, I know people have been saying this for 20 plus years, but like, if not now, then fucking when? You have the tools.
Wait. What if we get a Browns-Lions Super Bowl?
I would honestly be fine with that. I'd be rooting for the Lions hard, but
yeah, me too. And they're in the NFC North. They're a team that I just feel bad for them.
I don't know if I'd enjoy that.
That's how I feel about the Browns. Yeah, that's how I feel about the Browns. I just feel bad for them, but I still don't want to see them win a Super Bowl.
I'm okay with it. It makes the
No.
NFC North look good.
I don't want to look the NFC. I don't want to make the NFC North look good, and I don't care about the Browns, so I don't want any of that to happen.
That's right, because Corey liking the Bears and the Steelers.
That's right.
Yeah, Lions and Browns really would be a bad scenario for Corey being a Steelers and Bears fan. That's,
Yeah,
He's
like, hey, Corey,
there's no
Corey,
one to
good-
root for.
Corey, good news. A team from your two favorite divisions both went to the Super Bowl. Cool. And neither of them are your team. Ah,
Cool.
cool. So, yeah, I mean, the Browns, a great fucking showing week 1. Great way to start the season. Usually they let their fans down and start with a loss. So that's a nice change of pace. Although they need to get rid of that fucking horrible mascot in the middle of their field. What is that? Like Brownie Boy or something? Like, I don't even know what the name of it is, but it is terrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I think this was more of just like a sloppy showing from the Bengals than it is a dominant performance for the Browns.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals, let me look up here. Bengals week 2, who do they have? Ravens. I mean, Ravens are a good defense too.
So the Ravens are going to win. Got it.
But the Bengals are definitely, I'm going to put money, they'll look a lot better against the Ravens.
Yeah, I think so.
That's true. Joe Burrow seems to play really well against the Ravens.
Plus, he
does.
strikes me as the kind of guy that gets real pissed when he loses.
Oh, for sure. So Bengals, man, a rough showing. I know we're kind of basing this off their talent, and you have to factor in week 1 how bad they looked. What would you guys say right now for the Bengals?
I still think they're going to make the playoffs.
I'm going to put them right with the Packers at potential wild card.
Potential wild cards?
Just due to the way that they played, but we know the talent they have. We're trying, like, I'm trying my best to kind of approach this as if like a power rankings of sorts.
Yeah. And look, Mike, if we put them side by side, it's Green Bay.
Hey,
that's what this was all working up to.
That's what we did that on purpose. No,
this episode's done. We just wanted to do that.
I definitely think that they're going to show us a lot more later on, and that they're going to probably move up that list pretty easily. But that's where they belong for right now.
Okay, and then sticking within the division, next we had the Texans and the Ravens. Not a lot of takeaways.
You didn't do the Browns. The Browns are just fuck the Browns.
Sorry. Well, yes.
But... My bad. Yeah, Cleveland. I mean, a strong week 1 showing. Like I said, if Watson's even average, I think they're but it's the Browns, so you have a hard time trusting them. What do you guys think?
Just based off of week 1, and again, they do have talent on that team. I'd put them right there beside the Bengals. But that's between you two too. It's not just me making these decisions. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Actually, Mike, I'm going to disagree with you. And even though the Bengals had a bad week 1, it's going to screw up our Green Bay. But I agree with Corey. They're still, I think, a lock for a playoff.
Hey, see, that's what I'm saying.
I think we should also place the Bears and the Bears somewhere, because we did
the
talk
Bears
about
and the 49ers. Yeah.
The Bears. Oh, yeah, that's right. Bears and Packers. Corey, are you okay with Browns' potential wild card, or would you move them down?
Yeah, I mean, before week 1, I probably would have had the Steelers and the Browns switch where they are. But after this week, yeah, that's fine.
All right, and then real quick, the Bears. Corey, do you want to talk about this one? What do you think?
Yeah, put them right beside the Chiefs.
Okay, right here.
Yeah, right there. That looks good.
There's the Super Bowl.
Kansas City. No, they're... I have blind faith in Justin Fields because I'm such a fan of him. Okay. But I don't think he's like the MVP race that people are putting him in.
Yeah.
So I honestly would put them beside my team, but I know you guys probably want them lower than
that. Mediocre.
Yeah, I think they're mediocre at best.
I wouldn't argue that.
But that's kind of been the Bears for a while now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now the Ravens, Texans, we won't talk too long on it. There wasn't a lot of takeaways.
You don't want to put the 49ers all the way at the top where they belong?
Oh yeah, shit. Yeah. I'm forgetting the other teams. Yeah.
I mean redacted.
You know what? For now, let's put these two up here.
Yeah, as of now, I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, Kansas City lost, but they're fucking Kansas City. They'll bounce back.
You only have so we're only going to have 2 teams up there, right? That's the idea?
Or we'll move it around as we go. It's fluid.
You're fluid.
I have fluid.
Me too, but mine's dehydrating.
So finally, after me screwing up twice, the Ravens and the Texans.
I have a lot of fluid.
Guys, first of all, let's just be honest here. Texans, number 1 pick contention.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was roof.
Yeah, that was rough. The Ravens, I mean, there's not much takeaway. Without Andrews, Lamar Jackson looks very human.
Yes, he does.
He needed
I
Mark
mean,
Andrews.
Andrews for Lamar and Kelsey for Mahomes. They both looked very human.
They did. But Mahomes still looked a lot better. At least he can complete passes.
But Lamar won.
J.K. Dobbins out. He played the fucking Texans.
I know.
He played a rookie quarterback. But J.K. or which quarter is that your quarterback? Did Stroud go to Houston, right? Yeah.
Yes.
That was your quarter. He looked better than Bryce Young. He looked better than the other rookie.
Bryce Young did not look good, and I feel bad for the one guy in our fantasy league who has both Pickett and Young as his fantasy quarterbacks.
Hey, don't feel bad. He won our fucking league last year.
Yeah, hey, fuck you.
Fuck Frank. Hi, Frank. But yeah, so
please lose this year.
Please. Yes, I don't think there's a ton of takeaways. The Ravens defense, pretty fucking solid. I think Zay Flowers I predicted this before the season. Out of this receiving bunch, for some reason, a couple people were hyping up OBJ, and it's like, he hasn't been good for a long time. Get over it. Zay Flowers is the young kid. I think he's a stud. It's just over OBJ, over their other guy who I can't think of right now. Zay Flowers is that dude. If you get Mark Andrews healthy and you get Zay Flowers out there, I think they could even make Lamar look like a pretty decent quarterback. The Ravens are always, contenders for a playoff spot. They're never bad. Even though they had a bad performance, they still put up 25 points. Granted, it was the Texans, but
25-9.
25-9. What an ugly game.
Music. We need like
that's ESPN.
You know what
No,
yeah, that's ESPN. Mike, you know what I think of that idea? Actually, it's not a bad idea, just not the ESPN jingle.
Yeah. We'll get sued so fucking hard.
We got sued. Okay, so Ravens, Texans, do you guys have any disagreements? Do you think mediocre? Do they have a case for it?
I'd put them down at the bottom.
Yeah, when your best player, Damian,
there'll be another team.
The last 2 quarterbacks to go to the NFL out of Ohio State are at the bottom of that list right now.
Oh, damn. Well, Ohio State doesn't historically have great NFL quarterbacks.
Only in college.
Oh, in college. Not even
every single year they break all the fucking records and then they go to the NFL and never hear from them again.
I would put the Ravens right there beside the Bengals as of right now.
Playoff team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Damn, we're being generous with the AFC North. It hurts to put the Steelers down here. Browns.
It's just the way week 1 went. It's the way week 1 went.
I'll put them above the Steelers. Potential wild card. Yeah, potential wild card.
You don't know, man. The Browns could fucking surprise you.
I was thinking they were in the playoff tier. My bad. Potential wild card.
They're a potential wild card. They're definitely not going to win the division. Fuck no.
Okay, next is the Buccaneers and Vikings. Baker Mayfield, baby.
Can I just say, he started out very weak, but he fucking turned it on.
He turned it on.
I've always been a fan of Baker Mayfield. I hope, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Buccaneers, I hope he does well. I hope he shows that the Browns shouldn't have gave up on him.
Yeah, you got to give it to him. Like 0 people gave them a chance to win that game.
Yeah.
And I think Baker Mayfield finally realized, like, oh, wait, I have Mike fucking Evans. Maybe I should throw it up to him.
Yeah. I loved Baker Mayfield's commercials.
His commercials are funny, yeah.
They were funny.
I don't think Baker's anything special. I am rooting for him, but Mike Evans still looking like a beast. I saw that people were looking to potentially, there was some trade interest for Mike Evans for a while, but the Buccaneers are like, nah, we're not getting rid of him.
Look, all I'm going to say is in that division, if that's how Baker Mayfield plays the rest of the season, it's a very weak division. I could see the Buccaneers taking it.
Yeah, right now I'm between the Buccaneers and Saints, I think, for like a team winning that division.
Barely beat the Titans.
Yeah.
Is the Saints still being run by Hill? Is he still their quarterback?
No, it's he's like their tight end.
Their quarterback's Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, yeah.
He threw for 305 yards, but he had a touchdown and an interception.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill threw 3 interceptions.
Who am I thinking? their quarterback right after Breeze?
You're thinking of Taysom Hill, but he was never like their
Yeah,
starting.
that's-
He was always like their flex spot. Like he
he's
would
that
play
guy-
tight end.
He's an everything player.
He's like a jack of all trades. He's like a Randall L. Or a Cordell Stewart. But
Going way back.
I going to the way back machine. Yeah, but the Buccaneers surprised some people. The Vikings, after going like 10-0 last year and like 7-point games, or they already lost their first one. I know this from being a Justin Jefferson owner last year. Kirk Cousins like gives him monster performances, and then somewhere along the lines he just forgets about them.
Well,
Like Jefferson at halftime had like 120 something yards, and he finished with 150.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why Cousins, like if it's working, keep fucking going to it. I do think Jordan Addison, that kid, the rookie, he's a beast. He's going to be a great compliment for Jefferson. Madison, he's going to be the workhorse. Like fantasy could be an upside because he's going to get a shitload of carries, but he didn't really impress much with his work.
I think maybe Cousins thinks that, okay, I've gone to him enough. People are going to start seeing this. I better switch up my pattern.
Yeah, but the dude can't be covered.
But he doesn't go to him till they figure out the pattern. He just decides eventually, all right, now switch it up.
He's like, I'm going to spread the ball out. Like, no. Throw it to Jefferson 30
Stick with
times.
what works.
So many quarterback wide receiver combos have won Super Bowls just because it was just those two guys. It's happened a million times.
Remember when we used to fucking play backyard football and they'd be like, okay, we'll stop throwing at that guy. It's not his fault he can't cover. It's like, yeah, he sucks. We're going to keep throwing at him.
Exactly.
Put somebody better on me, bitch.
Exactly. Whoever Gerald was covering. Hi, Gerald.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to say any names.
I'll do it.
Okay, so Vikings, pretty disappointing performance. I mean, the Buccaneers, maybe they surprised, or maybe the Vikings just massively disappointed. So in that division, we like the Lions. We like the Packers to make a wild card run. Vikings, I think last year their record, they were not nearly as good as their record.
No. And Kirk Cousins, I don't get it because last year his stats were really good. Like he, potentially, like I'm pretty sure some people were putting him in the MVP conversation just because of his stats.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is always going to get you like a top 10, top 12, like even fantasy performance. He's going to be a QB1. But it's
so weird. He's so good, but he's also so bad.
I know.
He's Jay Cutler 2.0. Honestly,
yeah.
I would put them in the potential wild card spot.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
I had them looking in, but
outside looking in.
Yeah,
because I like the Lions right now. Would you like the Packers or the Vikings more to make a wild card?
Well, I mean, three teams from a division can get in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but
you know what? I'm going to be bold and I'm going to say outside looking in with Corey, but I'll put them with the.
I'm not against them being there. So
yeah, I'll put them ahead of our Steelers though. And then they played the Buccaneers. Surprising game. I still don't think they have the talent to be anything close to a Super Bowl contender.
The thing is, they're definitely in that division. In that weak division, they're a playoff teteam.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put them playoff team because
that's true. Because really, I mean, what the Seahawks made it in 2005 with a 9-7 record,
7-9
or 7-9 record. They were not good.
They beat the fucking Super Bowl champions Saints.
What's this? Tim's talking about Montana.
Oh wait, did Tim say something?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, thank you for joining us. First of all, Poondock Gaming, whoever you are. God, these guys know what they're talking about. Yes, we do, Poondocks.
It's true.
Great name, whoever you are.
That is a beautiful name.
Tim, Montana had Rice, Clark, and Taylor. Oh, yeah, I did. But how many people remember John Taylor? Yeah, that's true, and he was a fucking beast. There were games John Taylor outperformed Jerry Rice. But that's a very good point. Okay, so jumping ahead now, we have and probably the least exciting game of the week, or one of them. We had the Panthers and Falcons. This game just shows Arthur Smith. All he's going to do is run the ball down your throat. Atlanta, I don't know how they won this game by 2 touchdowns.
I don't.
Bijan Robinson is unbelievable. I think he's going to be a top 3 to 5 fantasy pick next year. And this was only his first game. Tyler Algier behind him had a great game. But fucking Desmond Ridder, what was he, like 15 for 18 or something? Drake London with 1 target. Kyle Pitts continues to get. I feel so bad for Kyle Pitts. He was like literally one of the greatest tight end prospects in
Yeah.
history, and he's on the worst team for any receivers. He needs to
Yep.
get out. I almost feel as bad for him as I do DJ Moore, who spent all those years with Carolina with terrible quarterbacks, and now he's with Chicago. DJ Moore should be such like a top 10 receiver in the NFL, and he goes to the worst passing offenses.
Do you want to know what else this game did show us? As you mentioned, it was one of the most boring games.
Yeah.
It showed us one of the many reasons why I feel the way I do about starting a rookie quarterback.
Bryce Young.
goddamn-
Yeah.
Bryce Young is by no means ready to be a fucking starter in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's just not. And it's nothing against his
yeah.
talent. It's nothing against it's to me it's another situation like Pickett. Like he just needs to develop under somebody first. Like you can't just throw him to the wolves. You can't draft somebody and just throw them to the wolves unless they have that like raw fucking talent that very rarely happens.
Yeah, if you get a quarterback like 24 to 32 in the back end of the draft and you're a good team around them, that's one thing. But when you're drafting like top 5, top 10, you're going to a shit team. Like how long did that curse Browns quarterbacks? For decades. Because they were always going to a shit team.
Like
it even makes you wonder,
Corey.
guys like it even makes you wonder, like guys that went elsewhere, like Josh Allen and these elite quarterbacks, like would their career have gone to die in Cleveland just because they're that bad?
And this is the thing, like teams like San Francisco got lucky with Brock Purdy. He was able to come in off the bat. Now, granted, he did sit the entire season until the very end, but Brock Purdy came in and showed that it's not always the case. They don't always have to sit for a couple of years. Ben Roethlisberger is another perfect example of that. Dude was sitting for like one game before he came in.
Yeah,
because one and a half.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and don't get me wrong.
Maddox.
Don't get me wrong. Ben didn't look the greatest at first when he played, but he still fucking took him 15-1,
14-0, and it with playoffs. Yeah.
So
all around good guy, Ben Roethlisberger.
Nothing immoral there.
I talk about the player, not the person. So what I mean is like what I'm saying isn't like a set in stone like thing that like it's not a credence or whatever the fuck you want to call it that you have to follow.
Yeah.
You just more times than not, a rookie quarterback, especially one drafted so high and going to a shit team, there is no reason they should be starting day one.
Yeah, the percentages aren't good for rookie quarterbacks to succeed. At least right away.
I'm gonna cut you guys off right there. I have to head out.
Okay.
It was good. It was good joining you. I'll probably try to catch the rest of this while I'm at work because I don't care.
You want me to move the Bears up to Super Bowl favorites before you leave?
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to move the Bears and the Steelers up to Super Bowl favorites real quick.
I'll do it and then I'll just so you can see, and then I'll move them back down.
That way I can leave happy. Okay, thank you very much.
There we go, guys.
All right, well, peace out. Enjoy the rest of this podcast. Stream podcast. It's not going to be as good without me, but these two will try to keep you entertained.
We're the funny ones.
On that note, I'm kicking you. Okay. Now, let's actually go. And where do we have these outside looking in mediocre at best? Let's put them where they belong. But yeah, Brock Purdy saved Shanahan and John Lynch.
I mean, he's Purdy.
He literally saved their jobs because everything they gave up for Trey Lance, they should have been fired. They should have been.
San Francisco was smart to stick with Purdy and trade Lance away. I honestly, they should have did that. It's not only fair to Trey Lance for him to try to go somewhere to get a chance to have a starting job, and it wouldn't have been fair to Brock either, really, to kind of have that in the background. Like, here's this guy that was supposed to be starting last season, but got hurt in the very first game.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's still they'd be stupid, but I'm sure some San Fran fans were still like, oh, we need to see what Trey Lance is made of.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't blame San Fran fans. It's just because they spent so much on him.
Right. And I get it. But I mean, when you got a guy like Brock.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
but when you give
San Francisco's in good hands.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, you think of your team, if you give up 3 first-round picks for a quarterback, you're thinking like this guy better be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
On point, Mike. All love to Trey, but he wasn't going to have the chance to shine with us. Yeah, he needed a fresh start. He needed to go somewhere, and like you said, Purdy needed to. He doesn't need that noise behind him.
He didn't need that noise, and
He
I think
earned his spot.
that was the smartest decision that San Francisco could have made. It's much like in Green Bay's situation, trying to keep Rodgers when he wasn't happy. Even if they would have benched him and he didn't want to play, that wouldn't have boded well for Jordan Love to have that in the background. So in the end, these are teams making smart decisions, and then you got teams, no offense, Adrian, like the Steelers,
Yeah.
who haven't been making the greatest decisions as of late.
You can't hurt me more than they already have. So say what you have to say.
Like last season, I truly believe that they felt pressured because of the fan base to put Pickett in a lot sooner than they should have, because everybody was just up in a roar about how fucking awful Trubisky is. And don't get me wrong, Trubisky's not a great quarterback by any means, but
No.
I watched him play in Chicago enough to know that he had his moments where he could be good.
Yeah.
And he could have been fine if he would have learned enough.
Tim,
in Pittsburgh.
Tim, nobody has hurt me more the last couple of years than that man, so I get it.
Blame Canada.
Blame Canada. Exactly. Mike, but for the first time, I think we're going to have two stinky tier lists here, and this was the Falcons-Panthers game.
Yeah. I mean,
even though the Falcons put up 24 points, Falcons are going to be behind a lot of games this year, and when the Falcons have to throw the ball, they're in trouble.
To me, Falcons are mediocre at best.
And we're the Panthers.
And Panthers definitely number one pick contention.
I'll put the Panthers over the Texans. Actually, I don't know. That's not necessarily tiered one above the other. They're just both down.
No, we're not doing this like we did the Marvel thing.
Right.
They're just there.
Okay, so next on the scoreboard is another boring game. Commanders and Cardinals. A lot of stinky games this week.
Oh, why'd we decide to do
Cardinals
this? I changed my mind.
Yeah, to the Cardinals' credit in this one, no one expected it to be much of a game because I think they were starting not Joshua Dobbs. Who the hell did they roll out?
Yeah, no, you're Joshua Dobbs.
Yeah, Joshua Dobbs. Yeah, when Josh Dobbs is your starting quarterback,
what the fuck? James Conner didn't look awful. 14 carries for 62 yards. Why didn't they just stick with that?
Yeah, Conner and Marquise Brown is about all they have.
Why didn't they stick with that?
Is Buda Baker still with the Cardinals? Because he's good.
I don't see a Baker on the list anyway, as far as stats go. On the defense.
Yeah, Buda Baker's still there?
Yeah, Buda Baker's still there. He was 3 tackles, 2 assists.
Yeah, didn't have a great game. But Sam Howell, not terrible looking for the Commanders.
No, he mediocre.
Brian Robinson.
1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Yeah, Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson still splitting that backfield, and neither one of them are really looking too
Can
hot.
I just say I'm glad that I benched Gibson?
It was a good decision.
I mean, I put in Jerick McKinnon, and he still got more yards for me than Gibson did, or more points.
Yeah. Curtis Samuel was the Commanders' leading receiver.
Wow.
I mean, the Commanders, they have Terry McLaurin. They have the rookie that looks really good. Like, they have talent. The running back should be better than they are, to be honest.
Yeah.
Wait, what was this? You guys aren't as funny as you were 10 minutes ago. What an idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game was a stink fest. This is one that I didn't even watch highlights for because it's 2 bad teams.
I mean, 20-16 is a pretty low score.
Yeah.
I feel like there wouldn't have been the highlights of that game were probably the same as Aaron Rodgers' highlights in week 1.
Yeah, about the same. But kudos to the Cardinals. Everyone expects them to be like 1-16 or 2-5, which, they could be, but they hung around in this game more than people were expecting.
Yeah. I mean,
they're going to be real bad. I think I have to put Cardinals in this bottom tier here.
I would agree. And honestly, I would feel the Commanders got to be close to that too. I would put them maybe mediocre at best.
Let's put them at mediocre.
Outside looking in would be generous, I think, for them.
Yeah, I'm going to put them above the Falcons just so we have the CW.
Oh, nice. That's where superheroes are.
That's where superheroes live. That's the only reason I'm doing that. Do we have a decent game coming up? Okay, Jaguars Colts. That's getting a little better.
Yeah, this one shocked me. So somebody offered me Trevor Lawrence, not Trevor Lawrence, Anthony Richardson
Anthony Richardson.
in a trade, and I'm looking at it, and it might not have been a bad trade because he had 2 touchdowns, he had quite a bit of yards.
Yeah,
he did throw a pick,
we did.
but and I was actually going to take that trade if I hadn't acquired Jordan Love after dropping Aaron Rodgers. I think Jordan Love is probably still a safer bet for me.
Yeah,
because I know what I'm getting there more so than I do with Anthony Richardson. No idea who that is. I think we talked about him actually in our fantasy draft episode because he was kind of ranked higher than Rodgers on the list, and I remember being like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah, right, exactly. Anyway, he had 10 carries, 40 yards, and a rushing touchdown.
Yep, and he threw. He was 24 of 37, 223 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception.
Yeah,
So,
not bad.
Overall, not bad. No, and Trevor Lawrence didn't look bad either.
I don't know why
obviously they won.
Why does Gardner Minshew have 2 throws? Did Richardson come out at a point? Was he hurt? That's a little worrisome.
2. Yeah, that's weird.
Minshew had 2 throws. I don't know if that was near the end of the game.
Minshew was in, and the Colts didn't win.
Yeah, exactly.
This?
Well, Minshew mania.
Minshew mania. He's no Justin Fields.
He's no. God damn it! Wait, is he talking about Anthony Richardson's?
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's already better. Yeah, but the Colts hung around longer than I expected. That everyone, the Jaguars are a hot team this year. Everyone's picking to go far in the playoffs.
I think
Colts
they win that division.
Oh yeah, I do too. Colts are supposed to be pretty bad though. So and Jaguars kind of pulled away later in the game. Like there was a fumble recovery for a touchdown that kind of started to separate them. If it wasn't for that one play, the Colts had a chance at this one. So Anthony,
I love funny names in the NFL, and I'm looking at Cartavius Bigsby.
That is a great name.
He had 1 rushing touchdown for the Jaguars.
Tim says every time I hear Trevor Lawrence, my brain goes to Trevor Noah. Like no brain, just
but Trevor Noah's kind of funny, kind of.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is going to take over hosting the Late Late Show.
Yeah, there we go.
Sunshine, as we call him.
Sunshine.
But yeah, Trevor Lawrence looks as good as advertised. ETN wasn't doing much. He kind of broke away a big run at the end that made his stats look a lot better.
As you say, he says 18 of 77, but if he broke away a big run, then
it was a big run.
That probably wasn't good.
Calvin Ridley, though, another thing we learned from that Falcons game is they should not have got rid of Calvin Ridley.
Well, the Falcons are stupid. Yeah, I had Zay Jones on my team, and I could have started him and got some more points. Not that I needed him.
Right.
When did they allow players to start using the number 0?
That's been, I think, since last year. They allow any player position to use any number. Yeah, I think one of the big surprises from this game is that Zay Jones was actually playing in the 2 receiver sets instead of Christian Kirk.
Yeah, well, I think after last season, Zay Jones kind of proved to be a solid number 2.
Yeah, but Christian Kirk was the number 1 in that offense last year, and he looked pretty good.
Zay Jones to me is better in the slot, so I hope they keep him there.
Right.
Because especially for my fantasy team.
Yeah. But Trevor Lawrence looked more like Trevor Lawrence. Like he is ascending. I think he's a great quarterback.
This is another example. Fortunately for Trevor Lawrence, he didn't
late show with Trevor Lawrence, the prince who was promised.
Fortunately for Trevor Lawrence, he didn't let the first couple seasons of his career phase him and make him lose confidence in himself, because this is another situation where they started somebody that they should not have started.
It could have gone bad.
But Trevor Lawrence said, "You know what? Fuck you guys. I'm still going to show you that I'm a good quarterback." Because what is it? I think he was undefeated from like high school all the way through college until he got to the NFL.
Yeah.
And then he lost his first game.
Welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah. But I mean, now he's looking good.
Lawrence is an example of a guy who like has so much poise that he overcame that terrible start. Because you see how much confidence plays such a big role in the NFL. Like you see players who have the talent, but you're like, it's not there anymore. Like they're making mistakes. You can see they're thinking too much. Lawrence just lets the game flow. And it doesn't
That is-
hurt that he has Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, and Evan Ingram.
You're
That doesn't
right.
hurt.
But and that's why, like, when you got a player, and I love talking about him just because he's funny to me. But when you got a player like Jay Cutler who just did not give a shit, it
Yeah.
actually helped. It helped him out a lot because if he
You
threw an
can't shake his-
interception, he didn't give a shit. If he threw a
Right.
touchdown, he didn't give a shit. Like, he was
If
just out there
Cutler's-
slinging the ball.
If Cutler was playing today, he'd throw an interception and literally just pull out his smartphone. I fucking love Jay Cutler. And Jay, we trust. Yeah, so I mean the Jaguars look, 31 points. They look every bit as good as advertised. Kudos to the Colts for keeping it a lot closer than people expected for a while.
Yeah.
I don't think the Colts are ready to make any kind of big leap this year, though.
I'm gonna say outside looking in for the Colts.
I'm fine with that. Jaguars going to
Um,
win their division, so I think we at least
yeah.
have to say playoff.
I have to say playoff team. If we're gonna do that for the Buccaneers, we have to for the Jaguars.
Real quick before we go through these last 6 or 7 games, is there anybody? Should we move a Super Bowl favorite down? Would you move a playoff team up to Super Bowl contender?
No. As of right now, no.
Yeah, Chiefs and Niners. It's hard to dispute up there at the top. I mean, Chiefs, you could do this based on their performance.
Yeah, and that's kind of
but-
why. That's why I had them where they were. But you kind of made a very good point. The fact that Mahomes kept the game as close as he did,
Yeah,
with his receivers not catching a damn fucking thing.
even if the Lions don't get that pick 6 off that Kadarius Toney drop,
Yeah.
Even if the Chiefs just punt that ball, they probably still win that game.
I would agree.
So
agree
yeah,
with that,
let's put them up there, because I was going to say, spoiler alert, if we don't put the Chiefs up there, I don't know if we have anybody in the AFC that's going to be in that category.
Let me look down there real quick.
Maybe the Charger, Dolphin, Bill. No, I don't know.
The only team on the rest of that list for the AFC that I'm even remotely high on, and then this isn't even a biased anymore. I can't say it's biased because the dude ain't playing the rest of the season. Is the Jets?
Don't say it. With Zach
I'm just-
Wilson, they are not a Super Bowl contender.
I'm not gonna say they're a Super Bowl contender, but I'm just saying as far as my faith in them because of that defense.
Defense is great.
Defense wins championships.
Yeah, but this ain't fucking 2000 when you can win with Trent Dilfer.
That's just, dude. Zach Wilson did throw that amazing ball to Garrett Wilson that got on
That's
that
sarcasm,
touchdown.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, no,
Yeah, I was
Garrett
gonna say,
Wilson.
the
That
throw
was
was-
all fucking Garrett Wilson for that catch. Which,
right,
mind
the
you,
throw was terrible.
dude, that catch has to be I don't even give a fuck what happens from here on out. Has to be a nomination for catch of the year.
It was so good. And Josh Allen in that game, man, he actually had a fumble return for a touchdown called back, so that would have been a 5th turnover. He was
Yeah,
I don't know what was.
he did not look good.
Maybe Josh Allen got the Madden curse, but not injury, just sucking. Which
It's
isn't
that-
good for me
it's that-
because he's my quarterback.
It's that mustache he's trying to grow.
It is. Great classy move by Steph Diggs on the sideline, though, trying to pump him up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it almost worked. I mean, they
almost
did
worked.
push it into overtime.
And that whole drive was him to Diggs.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about that game enough, so let's put them somewhere because we've already
Okay.
talked about that ad nauseum.
To me,
The
I'm
Jets, I'm
gonna
not
say-
nearly as high on them as you are.
Well, for me, I don't necessarily think that they're Super Bowl contenders. And with just one game and with Zach Wilson, I'm going to say potential wild card.
I'm fine with that's where I was going to put them, and I have to put them above the Browns because they just don't
Yeah.
look right there.
Yeah, I think the Jets definitely have more of a shot than.
And then the Bills, if you base this off one performance, you would have to put the Bills near the bottom, but I know they're going to bounce back.
Yeah,
Their
Yeah.
defense is too good. Josh Allen is too good.
it's just I know Josh Allen. Here's the thing though, Dak Prescott looked like shit, right?
Yeah.
And he's considered to be one of these great quarterbacks, and the Cowboys get a shit ton of hate, which they deservingly do.
Yeah,
But people will talk shit on Dak Prescott for so long, but Josh Allen plays
Never.
just as bad.
never
people
gets that
are just
criticism.
Yeah, people are just like, nah, Josh Allen will bounce back. It's okay. And you're like, what the fuck? Why are they different? Is it because Dak Prescott plays for the Cowboys?
I'm going to delete that salty defense comment and say that if defense wins championships, the conclusion is obvious. Is that a reference to the Niners there, Tim? I mean, yeah, you can't argue they probably have the best defense in the NFL. Nah, bro, Jets suck. Yeah, I'm not as high on the Jet. With Aaron Rodgers, hell yeah, sign me up. They're a playoff team. They might be a
Yeah.
Super Bowl contender. Zach Wilson, I cannot trust that guy. If they come out there and they sign some crazy quarterback, then maybe we'll talk again. As it stands, Zach Wilson, I will never trust him. Just like you shouldn't trust your mom around him. Zach Wilson loves some MILFs.
So here's the thing. And I watched Hard Knocks, which only because Rodgers was in it. And Zach Wilson was starting to look a lot better of a quarterback with Rodgers' tutelage. Like Rodgers was giving him pointers and telling him certain things to do. And there was even one play in the preseason where Rodgers was like, "Hey, do this." In the very next play, he does that and he scores this big fucking pass downfield. So Zach Wilson, with Rodgers around, like this is my hope for the Jets, and only because I really did want to see them do well. Hopefully Rodgers can still be on the sideline, and hopefully he'll be allowed to talk with Zach Wilson in the headset.
Yeah,
and maybe Zach Wilson will be a much better quarterback.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean, I hope so.
Tell your mom to stop blowing Zach Wilson.
Wait, what did he say? Stop blowing Zach Wilson. Right. Yeah, Corey, I agree. Mike, good joke, but Corey, I agree. Zach Wilson, I think, is still garbage. By the way, I know we're not ranking these within the tiers, but if we're going playoff teams, I'm putting the Bucs at the bottom of that list.
Oh no, yeah, no, I that's fair.
Bill, do you agree with playoff team, or where would you put them right now? Potential wild card?
I would still say in that division, Jesus.
It's a tough division.
How did Miami do?
Miami had a shootout with the Chargers, but they won.
I think as of right now, I would put the Bills also in potential wild card because the way that division's looking,
I'm putting them above the Jets.
That's fine. I think the way that division's looking, I think the Dolphins are going to be the division winner.
I agree. I think I picked the Dolphins. You and Corey were shitting on them.
I know, Corey. I said what I said.
Okay, so yeah, let's see. Going down the line here, we had to do that Monday night game because we had talked about it enough already.
Yeah,
you have to with Rodgers. I mean, it is fucking.
Yep. We talked about the Niners and Steelers,
but it is possibly like the only thing I want to say about Rodgers specifically is, Jesus.
That's right.
Hey Corey, oh, I made myself sad. The one thing I'll say about Rodgers, man, I think I even said it in the description of this video. It could be one of the most devastating injuries in NFL history for so many reasons.
Yeah,
you feel for the Jets fans who put all their stock in Aaron Rodgers. You feel for Aaron Rodgers, who this could literally end his career after he just got a fresh start.
Rodgers did say, he said to the staff, he said, "Fuck all this. How fast does it take to rehab? He wants to come back next season, so he is not ready to retire."
And I saw the comment, like in the locker room, he apologized to Garrett Wilson, like, "Sorry, bro." Yep. It's like, it's not your fault, dude. It sucks because they were going to have a hell of a connection.
Yeah.
But even though Rodgers never completed a pass to him.
He did in preseason.
He did. He did. Yeah, so going down the list, where did we leave off? We're
at Titans Saints. Yeah.
Titans Saints. We talked about it a little bit. Saints backfield is loaded, but I don't think you have like that dude there. Kamara's coming back after week 4. And Kamara slowed down the last 2 years, though, so I don't even know if he's the same guy. Derek Carr is always good for like 280 to 300 yards, but he's going to have
he's too much of a risk taker. Like
he loves
the
going
Derek
down the
Carr thing. And a lot of times Derek Carr will look great, and then sometimes he looks awful, and it's all because of the same way he does things. Like it's just, I don't know. I had Derek Carr on my fantasy team last year. I eventually got rid of him.
Yeah. I got rid of him week 1 because I'm like, I have Josh Allen. He's fine. Like, oh, fuck. Maybe I should have kept Carr. But the Saints, definitely the Titans. I think the Titans, like, Ryan Tannehill's not it. They've busted so much. They drafted Malik Willis last year. First round, I believe. He's looked terrible. They drafted Will Levis this year. He's looking terrible. Tannehill's beat out both of these young guys. Like, that shows you how bad they've fucked up the quarterback draft.
Here's the thing with Ryan Tannehill. This game proved everything about him. He
Yep.
has always been a glorified game manager. I say that about a couple people in the league, and it has
Don't even
never been
compare
truer.
Tannehill to.
Nope,
I'm not. Don't even compare. Okay.
I'm not. I say it about a lot of people in the league, and there are times when I say it that I might be stretching because of my hatred towards certain players. But Ryan
In this
Tannehill is
instance,
100% accurate. He is a glorified game manager. If he has to throw the ball more than 25 times in a game, you're gonna have a bad game.
right?
Like that's
Henry
just
should
the way
have
it is.
20. Henry should have 20 to 25 carries every game.
Yes. Like the fact that
But
Ryan Tannehill threw 34 fucking times is
me too,
bad.
Corey. He was a badass. He said, "I miss Ryan Fitzmagic."
Have you guys seen those commercials with him for the betting?
Yes.
When with him and Kevin Hart?
Yeah. Smartest quarterback in NFL history. Where'd he go? Stanford, Yale,
Harvard.
Harvard. Yeah. Yeah. No, I love those commercials though.
Fucking
But
Kevin Hart's like too much magic.
yeah, the Titans Saints game, like Derrick Henry started on a tear, and his yards per carry slowly went downhill when they realized, like, oh shit, Tannehill's throwing interception after interception. Let's just put 8 in the box and fucking shut down Henry because that's all they have. You have an old ass DeAndre Hopkins. You have Chigakonkwo, who's supposed to have a breakout tight end season. He had 0 catches on, I think, 1 target. So it's just they're not it, dude. The Saints have a cupcake schedule, and they have a pretty solid defense. You have Chris Olave, you have Michael Thomas, you have a running back committee. I think the Saints have as good a chance as anybody of winning that division. Not that that's saying a ton, but so
Wait a minute. So according to this, they picked their backup quarterback. Okay, so is Will Levis is that the backup quarterback?
Yeah.
How is that? Titans 2 active quarterbacks will be starter Ryan Tannehill. So they did not put Malik Willis in when Tannehill was playing that fucking bad.
Nope.
Oh my god.
That shows you how little trust they have in those backup quarterbacks. And they drafted them both extremely high the last couple of years, so they whiffed bad. Titans, I'm between maybe mediocre at best because you still have Derrick Henry. You still have Derrick Henry. You still have DeAndre Hopkins, even though he's 30 something.
I think the Colts are going to be better than they are this season. So
yeah, I agree. And then the Saints, like I said, I think they have a chance of winning that division, but I think they're better than the Falcons and the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm gonna say outside looking
in. I'm totally fine with that. So we would project the Buccaneers from this. We would project the Buccaneers to win that division,
which is, I mean, it's a weak division. I truly believe that is probably what will happen.
Yeah.
Unless the Saints kind of turn it around and Derek Carr shows us some magic there.
Yep.
Don't say Olivier. It's Simmons Corey.
What, Olave?
Olave, yeah.
Did he say something when I said Olave?
He said I miss Ryan Fitzmagic.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Raiders, Broncos. We won't spend much time on it. Another kind of stinker. Russell Wilson played a Russell Wilson game. Probably the game, like, probably Russell Wilson's kind of games this whole season. I don't think he's close to what he was in Seattle, but it's an efficient game. What was it? Like 220-something yards, 2 touchdowns?
His yardage wasn't great. He had 177 yards, but he didn't look bad. 27 of 34 is very good for a completion percentage. 2 TDs, solid for a quarterback. In fact, there weren't very many quarterbacks in the league in week 1 that had more than 2 touchdowns.
Right. It was a weird week.
In fact, I believe at the end of all the games, at the end of all the late games, up until the Sunday night game, Jordan Love was the first one to throw 3. So
wow.
if that tells you anything.
Yeah. My only takeaways from this game: hell of an effort by Javonte Williams to get back as fast as he did off a horrific injury last year. That dude is a beast. Adrian Peterson-like mindset getting back that fast. Truly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Russell Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo, they did pretty much what we expected. Yeah. Neither one of them were spectacular, but they were efficient.
The that's what we like. You're right. That's what we expect. I think Russell Wilson definitely looked a little better than Garoppolo.
Yeah, I
And,
agree.
I mean,
I feel bad for Devonta Adams because his numbers are going to suffer this year.
he still got 66 yards on
On
6
si-
receptions, so
He's
it's
the
11 yards per
devil.
reception.
Yeah,
he's
and
the devil.
and I mean that was with Patrick Surtain on him, so that's
Yeah.
pretty good numbers
Now,
still.
there was a report that Devonta Adams said he would be open to returning to Green Bay. So
Oh, really?
yep. Which I thought was weird, but I guess now that Rodgers is out, why would he go to the Jets?
All right, look. No. Yes. No. Yes. Yeah, so not a lot of takeaways here. Yeah, I was surprised Devonta Adams did as good as he did with Patrick Surtain the third on him, with Jimmy G as his quarterback. But I think it's going to be one of his more modest years, Adams. No fault of his own.
No, he's just unfortunately he hasn't had the best quarterback since he got traded.
Yeah,
And
Josh Jacobs, I don't know. He looked a little chunky this game. I don't know why. Looked like he put on some weight in the offseason. Like I know he was having the holdout dilemma, and he looks kind of like he hasn't been working out as much.
I would say probably not. I mean, 19 for only 48 yards is pretty bad.
Right. And the only reason he had a couple receiving yards was on one play.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't have a lot of confidence in either of these teams.
Yeah, these two teams after week 1, I don't really see anything special about either one of them.
Yeah. So what do we think? We have Broncos and Raiders. Oh God.
I would actually put them for me in the same tier outside looking in.
I was gonna say I don't think either of them really have a shot at the playoffs, especially with their division.
No.
There are two great teams above them.
That's why I said I definitely outside looking in for both of those guys.
They're on the outside.
I'm looking in.
Thank you. We'll jump a little out of order here. We talked about it a little bit already. Dolphins Chargers, probably the game of the week. Shootout.
Oh my God, yeah.
Tua, fucking Tyreek Hill. Thank you. Thank God for Tyreek Hill because that's my receiver.
the only player that scored more fantasy points than Ayuk this week.
That's it. And man, Tyreek Hill is just if Tua stays healthy, which is a huge if, Tyreek might make good on his first ever receiver to get 2,000 yards because there's nothing you can do with the guy. Like you go to cover 2, you go to cover 3. If you play man, you're fucking up. You should never play man on Tyreek Hill.
Oh no.
But
why would you do that?
If you play press, he's going to pass you. If you play off, he's going to hit you with the short route that he can turn into 60 yards into a house call. Tua so effortlessly every game seems to throw for 350, 400 yards. It's crazy. And people are like, well, yeah, he has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Yeah, okay, but Joe Burrow has, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. You can go with a lot of receiver duos that don't seem to put up yards as easy as Tua does.
Yeah, Tua, 466 fucking yards, dude.
Yeah, dude. When Tua's healthy, he makes it look effortless. Like he could lead the league every year in passing yards.
And that's the thing. He, I believe, was the second quarterback to throw for 3 touchdowns in week 1.
Yep.
Because we just talked about that.
On the other end, you have Herbert. He's a fucking animal too. It was a great game, just like I expected it to be. Austin Eckler never seems to age. Every year you see the fantasy experts saying that it's time to pass on Austin Eckler. But dude, every year he goes out and puts 100 yards a game rushing. He gets 5-6 catches. He did appear to tweak his hamstring maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that he's okay because that's my boy.
You're my boy, Eckler. But yeah, I know the Chargers definitely have a reputation of kind of being choke artists, and fittingly so. They deserve it.
Yeah,
I do. I feel like the Dolphins and Chargers, though, I feel like it's going to be a special year for both of them. I could see both of these teams going a long way.
Yeah, with that, if it weren't for the Chiefs being in the division, I would say
exactly.
that the Chargers have a legitimate shot at winning that division, but I would put them at a potential wild card for sure.
Chargers? Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can't call them a playoff team if the Chiefs are in their division. I'm going to put the Chargers at the top of the wild card.
We did that with the Bengals and Ravens, but that's just because we really don't fucking know what we're getting with either one of those teams right now.
Exactly. I think it's a 2-horse race. And then the Dolphins, I picked to win the division. I'm
I
standing
think
by that.
I actually, and I'm on your side with that one now.
Yeah, I'm putting them in playoff team. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's actually, I would even put them in a Super Bowl contender.
Let's do it. Let's mix it up a little bit. We have no one in there. I like it. And then 3 games to wrap up. One of the biggest surprises of the week. How about the Rams over the Seahawks? That was wild.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. Stafford showed up and it was like, what up, guys?
Looks like he has. Listen, I got early on the Puka Nakua train
That's true.
solely for his name. I missed out on Cooper Kupp. I had a couple friends who were a year or two ahead on Cooper Kupp. Like when he was averaging 3 to 4 fantasy points, there were people saying like, dude, Cooper Kupp, he's going to be something. I'm not missing out on Puka Nakua.
The fact that Puka Nakua and Tutu Atwell both had 119 yards receiving.
Crazy.
Matthew Stafford may have not have had any touchdowns, but he didn't throw any interceptions. He threw for 334 yards. He was 24 of 38. Like, that's a solid fucking day for a quarterback. And
yeah,
all these rushing touchdowns that they got
Yeah.
easily came, like, because if you look at their stats, they were only averaging 3.5 yards per carry, 1.3 yards per carry. Like, these guys were clearly just finishing off drives.
Yeah, Kyron Williams looked all right. Cam Akers, dude, continues to look worse and worse.
He still had a touchdown.
22 carries for 29 yards. Isn't that what he finished with?
Yeah, that's bad. That's very bad.
That is like historically bad.
And and then Geno Smith looked a little bit more like Geno Smith.
He did. I'm a little bit worried. It's 1 week, but
it's only 1 week. He didn't throw any interceptions, but he did not look like the Geno Smith from last season.
No.
He did throw DK Metcalf a touchdown, which I was pretty happy about, though.
Yeah. Geno Smith does own one of my favorite sound bites in NFL history last year. They wrote me off. I ain't right back yet. One of the greatest lines in an interview ever.
That is pretty funny.
But yeah, that probably one of the big surprises of the week, the Rams. Like everyone expected them to be Cardinals level of bad, and they went out there and did their thing.
2 seasons ago the Rams were in the Super Bowl, so
but
probably shouldn't.
But to get to that Super Bowl, they sold their souls. Like they got rid of all their draft picks for these 1 or 2 year guys, and now they're seeing the bad side of that. But still, they started this season great.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's a fluke or if the Seahawks maybe aren't as good as they were last year, which could be possible.
They're not who we thought they were.
We let them off the hook. Rams, I'm not taking too much stock in it. I would say mediocre at best.
I would say outside looking in.
You think?
This is a solid performance. I don't know. It's just that's the thing. I would put the Seahawks and Rams both kind of in that same category.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, let's do it. We'll put them both in there. I'm actually fine with that. And then 2 games left. Our defending Super Bowl NFC participant, Eagles, played in Gillette. Stop me if you've heard this one. Stop me if you've heard this one before. The Eagles ruined Tom Brady's big day. Thank you, Philadelphia. But you got to give New England credit. Bill Belichick schemed the hell out of it. They had a chance to win that at the end.
That game is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. And Mac Jones looked fucking great.
He looked real good.
I mean,
he had that pick 6 early, but that
threw
was a bad
54
throw.
times, though, which you cannot have your quarterback throw 54 times every game. That won't end well. But
yeah,
I mean, he looked good. I think Mac Jones could possibly become like the answer there if that's how he continues to play.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a good year to see progression from him. And they had a chance to win it at the end. They picked up a huge 4th down driving into Philly's territory, and the receiver, they challenged it because the receiver didn't drag his feet.
Yeah.
So he fucked it up. But all the credit to New England, because for a chance to get a game-winning touchdown in the final minute of the game, I don't think anyone expected that, them to have that chance.
No.
Especially if you say Philly goes up, 16-0 early, they get a pick 6, Darius Slay doing his thing. Tim says Mac Jones could become Allen Iverson. The answer. Nicely done, Tim. But all the credit to New England. Belichick showed why he's never out of a game. Doesn't matter who he's playing, he's never out of a game. He knows how to scheme.
I hate him so much.
I hate him.
Zeke, Bill Belichick.
Zeke looked a little better than I thought he would, although a huge fumble.
Yeah.
Ramondre, I think, is still that guy. They didn't give him as much. They gave Zeke a little more work than I thought they were gonna. To be honest,
yeah.
I thought this game was going to be all Ramondre, but
Ty
and
Montgomery's still in the fucking league?
he is. And Hunter Henry was actually the tight end one on the week with like 5 catches for 50 something and a touchdown.
Yeah.
It was a bad week for tight end guys.
It was a bad week for tight ends.
But the Eagles, even with a bad game, Jalen Hurts did not look like Jalen Hurts. They still pulled out a W in terrible conditions in a hostile environment. Tom Brady's big day. I mean, maybe it wasn't a super impressive performance by the Eagles, but they handled business. I was surprised Kenneth Gainwell got so much work and DeAndre Swift didn't touch the ball. That was strange to me. Swift is a guy that's the last 2 years, like, I thought he had potential to be a top 5, top 10 running back, and he fell off a cliff.
I mean, yeah, I really don't know what the fuck happened there.
I don't either.
Like
last year, he got.
You know what it is?
Like, what is it?
He switched his number to 0.
Yep. See, 0. Well, but to be fair, Calvin Ridley did that and he tore it up.
Well, okay.
Well, every time you do that, it just reminds me of the Michael Scott. Well, but yeah, Philly took care of business, man. I mean,
the only thing that game was missing was Nick Foles to be there to help ruin the day.
That's it. They should have put the Nick Foles statue in front of Gillette.
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy? Big Dick Nick and Eli Manning. But yeah, the Eagles. I mean, I think the NFC right now, Eagles and San Fran, it's probably a 2-headed monster. I'm probably being biased because the Cowboys did look really good this week. If you're going to overreact, it's the Giants. But still, like historically, this was one of the best defensive performances of all time.
We're going to get to that game here very shortly because
listen, if you're gonna overreact with 1 week, this would be a week to say Dallas looked real good.
Oh, it's like this is all year.
Exactly.
Every single season.
Dak didn't look real good, but that defense, holy shit. Okay, so Philly, I mean, they got to be top 2 tiers.
Yeah, I definitely think that they didn't look as good as San Francisco did, but and both teams played bad teams. Nothing against the Steelers again.
You want to do like either one of these guys could be in the Super Bowl, but either one of these could upset and be in the Super Bowl?
Yes, I'm good with that as of right now. I think San Fran and Kansas City are the safer bets.
Right.
And the Eagles definitely are a Super Bowl contender. The Dolphins, in my opinion, are a Super Bowl contender. Ray Charles likes the way the Dallas looks this year. Absolutely.
Was that from Tim?
Yeah.
I love it. He's keeping the joke going from the beginning of the stream.
He is. It's almost like he's watched our show or listened to our show before.
He gets it. Now, New England, what do we do with them? Do they have a chance?
Throw them in the trash? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Do they have a chance at this division? No.
Nah, I'm gonna say outside looking in. If Mac Jones can keep playing like that, I would definitely give them. I mean, we have a lot more mediocre, or mid-tier teams than we do like really bad and really good now.
Yeah, and their defense is elite. I mean, New England's defense always brings it. Judon is a beast.
So, in my opinion, when I say outside looking in, there's like there's a sliver of a chance they could pull off a wild card.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not like they have 0 chance. That would be mediocre.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty accurate. The 7 teams we have down here don't have a chance in hell at making a playoff run.
No chance. That's what you got.
Except maybe the only one I could possibly see is maybe the Falcons because the division is so bad. Like maybe Bijan Robinson goes off and they just do overperform.
We'll see what the Falcons look like against Green Bay this upcoming week.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's a good test for Atlanta. All right, and then last one of the week, since we already talked about the Monday night game ad nauseum, we have to talk about the Sunday night game. And thank you, Giants, for existing because you made the Steelers look good, baby.
And I'm sure Dak Prescott's happy that Daniel Jones exists because if Daniel Jones didn't exist, Dak Prescott would be talked about in a lot more of a negative manner right now.
Yeah. And listen, any Cowboy fan, if you listen to this in the future, I will put money your team's not going to the Super Bowl. Bet me.
And any Cowboy fan, if you listen to us at all in the future, the Cowboys suck. Get over it.
the Dallas is the most memeable team. Like that classic, like season starts, beat up on bad teams, we them boys, make the playoffs, choke in the playoffs, repeat.
This is the problem with Dallas that I have now is Cooper Rush is clearly a better quarterback than Dak Prescott, in my opinion, and they should.
What about Trey Lance?
Well, Trey Lance might have a shot, but I just think that that's the other thing. I don't know why Dallas was the ones that went out of their way to get Trey Lance.
Yeah, it
'Cause-
was a weird decision.
When Dak Prescott went out, Cooper Rush came in and looked, I think, way better than Dak Prescott did.
Yeah,
And
he
then
went like
when
4-1 in that
yeah.
stretch.
And then when Prescott came back, like they were just like, boom, Cooper, you're bench, Prescott, you're our guy. And I'm like, are you fucking stupid? They could have traded Dak
I w-
Prescott away and started Cooper.
Yeah,
And probably could have got a lot for Dak.
yeah,
If they keep going down this road and Dak keeps looking bad, they're not going to get shit for him.
right. That's true. His trade value keeps plummeting. Tim, since I help co-write the NFL script, so let me just tell you now, Cowboys and Niners are meeting in the playoffs, and at that point, Trey Lance will be the quarterback for the Cowboys, playing his old team. That'll be a good one.
And both Brock Purdy and Trey Lance combined for a total of 7 interceptions.
Nice.
All thrown by Trey. All thrown by Trey Lance.
Cooper. I see what you did there. All thrown by one guy. Cooper Rush was 4-1 and starts. Nailed it. So yeah, man. I mean, I hate doing it because I hate this team so much. But you have to give Dallas their props for 1 week. It was the Giants. I know that.
Defensively, yeah, I'll put them absolutely as a playoff team. I do not think that they are a Super Bowl contender. If we're gonna try to do like I do kind of want to see this as more of a power ranking. With that performance, 40-0. I mean, a defense shutting a team out. I don't give a shit who it is. It's the
They're
NFL.
still an NFL team. Yeah.
Yeah, and Daniel Jones isn't normally that fucking bad.
No, he's not. He has bad games, but he's not that bad normally.
And I hate to admit it.
Yeah.
I hate to admit it. They definitely they'll probably go a little bit further down on the list when we do another one of these. But as of right now, yeah, they're a Super Bowl contender.
I agree with you. I have to agree with you. I know Tim's probably going to log off after we said that. But the Giants, like, the thing is, yeah, they did this to the Giants, and going into the season, nobody would say they expect the Giants to be like a contender for the number 1 draft pick.
No,
people thought they had an outside shot at, like, wild card, making the playoffs, and Dallas just dismantled them. That was the worst showing I've seen in a team in a long time.
Sorry, the dog is doing crazy stuff.
Oh no, you're good. But
He's
I mean,
snoring.
The Giants are doing nothing to help Daniel Jones at receiver. His receiving room is truly awful.
Yeah, I don't like who are even like. He's got Saquon, which as a running back, and Saquon didn't look awful, but he didn't get very many touches.
They have Isaiah Hodgins,
Darren Waller, Lawrence Cater. I'm assuming that's how you say it. They have Darius Slayton. He's got a cool, badass first name.
Yeah, but he hasn't been relevant for years.
Sterling Shepard's still there, apparently.
Jesus, is he?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I feel bad for Daniel Jones because, Jones has the rushing upside. Dude is mobile as hell.
Yeah.
Sometimes he runs too fast and trips over himself. Who else but Daniel Jones would make a play like that?
I mean, when you look like Eli Manning, you might as well play like Eli Manning.
Except Eli's hasn't had that many rushing yards in his career that he had in that one run.
That's true.
Because Peyton and Eli were watching, how they do the Manning cast?
Yeah.
After Rodgers came out, I think Zach Wilson or someone made a run, and Eli's like, "Oh, heck of a run." Yeah, Peyton's like, "Yeah, you'd never make that run, but that was a heck of a run." Like, it's just brothers jabbing at each other.
Yeah, somebody said that Peyton looked genuinely disgusted watching Zach Wilson play quarterback.
Yeah. You saw Eli gave a classic Eli face when Rodgers went on the medical cart. He's because at first Peyton's like, "Come on, man, you got to get up and tape that ankle up, get back in there." And then they saw him go on the cart, and Peyton's like, "Oh, my bad. This is serious."
Did you see that Patrick Mahomes had to edit a tweet?
No, why? What happened? Oh yeah, with the comma.
Yeah, he forgot to put the comma in there because it made it seem like he hated Aaron Rodgers.
He said, "I hate that man," and then I hate that man.
Yeah.
It says Patrick Mahomes teaches you the importance of punctuation. I hate that man.
Yeah, he made another tweet after. He made another tweet after that said, "I knew I was going to need that edit button someday."
Okay, so as far as the Giants, Eagles and Cowboys are the alphas in that division. Easy.
Yeah.
It was
I think
based on a 1 week performance, you could say number one pick contention,
yeah.
but they're better than those teams. But after that performance, you know what? We're going to put them in the bottom.
Yeah, we'll
'Cause
put
that's
them
just-
above all
that's-
those teams, but they're definitely at the bottom.
And I'm being biased because the Steelers would probably drop down to here based on that logic. But I'm just going to be a little bit biased.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right, guys. So before I go back to the screen of me and Mike and we wrap, one more screenshot here. Look at. So we have 5 teams right now with the possibility, 3 in the NFC, 2 the AFC, to be Super Bowl contenders. Hopefully Dallas falls out in about 3-4 weeks. Let's say this. If you have one playoff team, if you had to pick in that lineup, who's someone you think could jump up at least to Super Bowl contender in the next month?
In that playoff, in the playoff,
Yeah,
teams,
out of our playoff teams.
probably Jaguars.
Oh, early. I'm gonna say the Bengals. I just think they had a really bad week. And it's a boring pick.
Day.
They had a real bad day. This song was probably playing in Joe Burrow's head. And then potential wild cards, I would be between the Bills or the Chargers to move up the playoff team. Maybe outside chance of Super Bowl contender.
Let me ask you this. Let's do this. Okay, so out of all the ones that we put potential wild cards for, which one of them do you think could potentially be the division winner, if not the team we picked?
I'm between the Bills and Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jets. I just can't do it with Zach Wilson.
Well, I wasn't gonna. No, I think I would go Bills.
Yeah, Bill. They'll be back. I mean, their defense played great. They gave up that punt return touchdown. Otherwise, they only gave up 16 points. Even though it was Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson had to make the catch of his life to get that touchdown.
That fucking catch, Jesus. I had to apologize so much to Amber because we were both laying there watching the game, and it was kind of like very chill. Obviously, it was towards the end of the game, so she was sleepy, and that catch happened, and I just jumped and I was like, "Oh fuck!" like really loud.
Tim, you better love. We have your San Francisco 49ers at number 1. Like
Redacted.
I don't know between them and the Chiefs. You know, they're both up there, but they're number 1 technically.
I mean, as of right now, to me, the number 1 team in the league as far as power rankings goes should be the 49ers.
And let's see if the Fox Sports expert agrees with you. At number 1, they have
The San Francisco
49ers. Number
And
2,
then
Philly.
Philly,
wow.
Kansas. They put Kansas City
Yeah,
at number 3 even after that loss. I'm okay with that.
What do they say?
Dallas.
It doesn't feel like Dallas 4. I want to see what they say about Kansas City even with a loss. It doesn't feel like a coincidence that the Chiefs brought Chris Jones back into the fold 4 days. Oh, Chris Jones is back now. They paid him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's big. Yeah. So they brought him back 4 days after losing. Patrick Mahomes is incredible, but good on the Chiefs for recognizing that they at least need Jones or Travis Kelce to help them out. Fair. Without Kelce, this offense showed a terrifying lack of playmaking ability. Again, very fair.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's
it seems like they agreed
our tier list
us.
for. Yeah. We wrote that article. Actually, we work for Fox Sports.
Yeah, we work for Fox Sports. Shh.
Tim says I could see a San Fran Chiefs Super Bowl. I don't want to because we've seen that already, but and you guys could have won that one too.
It'll be a Steelers Packers Super Bowl.
Yeah. The San Fran really could have won that Super Bowl if Mahomes pulled the definition of "fuck it, Tyreek's down there somewhere," and that changed the whole momentum of the game. And Jimmy G missing an easy touchdown. But I'm sorry, Tim, you don't want to relive. I want you to feel some semblance of pain after what you did to us. Remember when Garoppolo missed that easy touchdown? All right, guys.
Clay Matthews clothesline Kaepernick out of bounds.
Fuck Clay Matthews. He screwed our Super Bowl too. Menden, all piece of shit. And you know, right? The guy who gave Clay Matthews that inspirational speech, Kevin Green. Damn it.
Who is a former Steeler.
Whose side are you really on, Kevin Green? Oh yeah, I guess at that time the Packers.
Hey, he got another ring out of it.
You did. There's one final look at our tiers. Soak that all in. I think we did. I'm really happy with our bottom 8 because those are some bad teams.
Actually, I think I'm okay with the whole thing. I really, honestly, there's not really one I would disagree with.
Yeah, I would probably move the Jets down. That's about it, just because Zach Wilson. And it's hard
You really hate Zach Wilson.
He's a scrub.
Oh, Tim, I was good with the Clay Cat play. He had that coming. I mean, I think Matthews was just tired of Kaepernick running all over that defense all the time. He said, "Fuck it."
Man. Yeah, Kaepernick fucking tore them up. They did not game plan for him at all. All right, guys. I think that's, unless you have anything else, Mike, I think.
No, that's what I wanted to do.
Well, that was a fun episode. Of course, again, it went a lot longer than I thought it was gonna.
Yeah, we
But
actually went over every single game, so
we did. That's the theme of our show, kind of. If you're new here, that's what we do. We go way too long. A problem I don't have in other areas of my life. It's actually the opposite.
If Adrian didn't have a cutoff time, we probably could have talked about this for another hour or two.
In other aspects of my life, it goes like this. Hello and welcome to... Oh! I'll let you figure out what that means, dear listeners. All right, guys. Well, we had a ton of fun. Like I said, this won't be a weekly segment, but at least a few times throughout the season, we'd like to jump on here and bullshit. Maybe see if Corey and I's team improves, or if Mike's team gets worse, but hopefully they don't.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you guys. But
I'd love to see Love do well.
The next time we jump on will probably be anytime the Cowboys have a 2-game losing streak. We'll be like, they suck.
Or the next time when the 49ers finally lose, so Adrian can rub it in Tim's face.
If the 49ers lose. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Tim, love you, buddy. You're always with us. Regardless of what your team did to my team, we love having you here and being active in the comment section. Corey Baker, whoever that is, terrible taste. Justin Fields, Ohio State Buckeyes, terrible. That guy probably likes the Meg more than Jaws.
Hey.
Mike, it's a bad opinion. I know you share it. It's a bad opinion. Okay, guys. Anyway, we could go down a whole rabbit hole with that. But thank you again so much for joining us. Thank you, Tim. Thank you to all of our patrons. For as little as $1 a month, we do have a Patreon over patreon.com/Culture Shock Podcast. As little as $1, help us keep the lights on, help us do new fun formats, for instance, like this. Maybe some movie commentaries in the future on bad movies. Maybe good movies, but let's be honest, bad movies are just more fun to comment on.
This will be fun for us to do commentary on, A lot more jokes.
We have a YouTube channel every Wednesday, meaning an episode went up today. I think it was the Nintendo 64. Every Wednesday and Saturday, we have new episodes that go up on our YouTube channel. So grab a friend, check those out, like, share, subscribe. Hey, YouTube fam, smash that like button. You know, all that lame shit. I have my own YouTube channel where I rank and review movies. I have an idea for a new series or two I want to try on my channel. That will be coming very soon. Batman and Robin will be involved. That's all I'm saying. And of course, October should be a big month for me as well because I love horror, guys. So check that out. BakerReviews.com. Wait, I always fuck that up. YouTube.com/Baker Reviews.
Baker Reviews.
Thank you as always, Mike. And Mike, let's see how much you listen. Where can they find us on the socials?
I think we're just Culture Shock Podcast on Facebook, CS Podcast 21 on Twitter. Pretty much, I believe CS Podcast 21 everywhere else.
I think so. Instagram, TikTok.
X, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Yeah. Corey does most of the work with our socials.
That's really all he contributes.
Occasionally, I'll jump on there and help him out with the Facebook stuff when he's banned.
Hashtag ban Corey.
But that is in fact where Corey does most of his work. Thank you, Tim.
We should have had Tim. We should have had Tim do our promos.
Hey, you know what? I didn't do too bad. It was pretty good for being on the spot.
But I'm just saying, Tim probably knows them by heart.
He does probably know them by heart. I've been
better than we do.
Half the time I zone out at the end of the episode.
Me too.
It's like, oh, Corey's starting to wrap it up.
I'm zoned out while I'm doing my own plugs. Baker review. I don't fucking know.
I have to be listening for that because I have to listen for when you're finished. Because the one time I zoned out, I missed it, and then you were like, Mike, what the fuck?
Hey, what the hell, dude? This is your cue. And Mike,
I just was like, what?
When you miss a moment, I say,
we'll do it live. Fuck it.
Fucking thing sucks.
All right, guys, we're going to try to keep this one under 2 hours. So thank you guys so much for being with us. You know, check out our podcast. You know where to get all the good stuff, and
Yeah.
share with us on any of our social medias what your power ranking looks like if you want to do your own tier list. And, you know, we love the differences of opinions.
And if you do listen to the podcast, if you come over and you are subscribed to us wherever you get your podcasts and stuff, like, could you just like give us a nice little 5-star rating? That'd be wonderfully appreciated.
Oh, yeah, by
Because
the way.
you don't realize how much that actually helps out, especially an indie podcast like us.
Yes, you
gets
got
us
to
a little bit
feed the
closer.
algorithm.
So just smash that 5-star button. Just smash it.
Smash. What's up, YouTube fam? All right, guys, and we're going to end this in the worst possible way. Ready?
Oh,
Bye, guys.
bye. Tortuga.